Pressing any buttons to start or anything? We're good?
Matt, I'll unmute.
There you go.
Okay, we're unmuted on Zoom.
All right, it's
Turn your microphone
7
on.
o'clock. Call the meeting to order. I'm gonna go over our meeting real quickly, public comment, and then we reorganize, liaison reports, liaison assignments, vote to confirm town manager's appointment, Richard Nelson, fire chief, vote to allow early voting for the 13th of May, review and vote on updated town forest rules and regulations, vote on 52 Sanborn Street, vote on Renewable Energy Trust membership agreement, which is related to green communities, discuss charter review process, discuss charge for master plan committee, future agendas, and meeting minutes. And I will pause for a second. We're taking some chairs out of the room.
Full house next door.
So this is not a normal night for us. We had some conflicts for the 22nd, and I wanted to reorganize and not wait beyond that. So that's why we're here on a Monday night. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that ran. Congratulations to everybody that was elected. And congratulations to Lara and town staff and all the volunteers who helped the election without any hiccups. I don't know the total turnout, but I think we had a decent turnout for a local election. So, and just a show of hands, how many people plan to speak? So I need the sheet, just two, okay, no, all right. Angela? Yep. And just for expediency, I'm gonna keep it at 2 minutes, please.
Okay, I get 30 seconds leeway because I'm not, okay. Angela Benda, Precinct 5. Congratulations to Karen and Melissa on your election. I have a question about pickleball. I have picked up my town warrant, but I'm wondering if you have a number on pickleball. I was expecting to hear by now. I thought something was going to go to the select board. I haven't seen anything. I was wondering if you've been able to get the number down and if you're still thinking about a debt exclusion. And if you've thought about maybe putting out an RFI before that. I know one major project in a neighboring town is now on hold because the numbers came in at twice what they expected the bids to come in. So I do hope that information is disseminated by the town. This is really directed to you more than the select board, but I do hope that information about pickleball and the numbers is disseminated by the town. As you said, it would be soon, so residents have an opportunity to weigh in before town meeting. The warrant report says the cost is 1.792, 1.8. You said that you would get the cost down. What I see is that the borrowing has been come down, but the cost itself has not. And in the warrant, it says estimates were refined down to 1.792. So I'm asking, how many estimates did you get? Would it not make sense to put out an RFI or something before town meeting? And when will all of town have an idea what this costs? Because I'm telling you, people are calling me as a person who speaks up and they know that I will talk up at town meeting. People have been contacting me and telling me that this number, the 1.79, even 1.5, is a crazy number considering where we are in the world and what's going on. And so I'm just hoping that, the number isn't given to town meeting right before it's presented to town meeting. I think the town needs to weigh in on this. And by that, I mean, the town needs to see these numbers and people have to have the opportunity to see that so they can contact their town meeting members and vote however they feel. Thank you. So yes, I know you can't respond to me, but hopefully you will be able to respond to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, anyone, I saw Tony's hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tony DeRiso, 130 John Street. My My request is about Article 17 on the town warrant. I'm reviewing it this weekend, and I noticed that some of the information is incorrect on the background. The drainage easement that's referred to was not designed for a Colberg Road extension, but rather it and a mirror drainage easement owned on town property are designed to keep flooding from neighboring basements when the creek overflows. It's not so much a drainage easement as really a retention area for water. I would hope that the Conservation Commission would be able to weigh in on this article before town meeting and that a bit more research is done on it. Thank you.
Anyone else had their hand up? Marianne?
Hi, good evening, and congratulations to Melissa and Israel and Karen. Have you guys figured out the Karen one, Karen two? No, okay. But congratulations for your election. Further to select board status, and forgive me if someone was a little late to public comment, if people have already got to this. I know there's going to be a reorganization tonight, and I just wanted to outline why if you do consider it, why I support Chris Haley to be given the opportunity as chair. I've known Chris for 4 years. I got to work closely with him when he was on the ARPA Advisory Committee. And what I've seen with Chris is over the years, Chris is about transparency. He's consistently demonstrated a very deep commitment to transparency, even when it's hard for others to hear. You always know where Chris stands. He's also, I don't think, few can dispute, he's one of the most responsive members that's ever been on the select board. He puts residents first. He will not just respond to you, but he will go out, he will film something. He is very much about keeping the community informed. Another thing I saw with Chris, with him being on the ARPA Advisory Committee, and I've seen it continually as him on the board, is he really gets to know what all of the town boards and departments are doing. He has a connection with everyone. He's very dedicated, and he does things before they're asked. When RCTV, without a whole lot of notice, couldn't put on a candidate for him, Chris stepped up and in his own facility, with his own time, and his own working with the candidates and getting questioners he set up a forum. I participated in the other forum. I was very glad for the Reading Democratic Town Committee and Republican Town Committee to also come together to take the place of RCTV, and they deserve praise. But Chris did this on his own without being asked. That's something the town committees have done before. Chris has had other achievements on the select board that I just want to remind the board of. Even though he was on the park committee that helped put forth new parking regulations and put forth kiosks, he recognized when it was not a policy that was going to work for the town. He and Melissa, they tried to evaluate the kiosks, but ultimately I think he helped really lead to stop it or pause it at least. He can recognize when he's made mistakes. He's not perfect. There's probably still things that, just like all of us, you can't get everything right. But when it comes to the town, he tries to fix things. He helped advocate for the second water meters for residents. He's also was instrumental, I think, as one of the people, I give the whole board credit, but especially Chris, in helping to publicize information about the MBTA communities, the zoning, the alternatives. I know he worked with the town boards. I think we're in a good place. We're not like one of those communities that's going to be sued. Praise to our CPDC, but really Chris, Carla, Melissa, Karen, and Mark Doxter, you all were part of a board that helped direct our town towards something that we could all come together on. So I guess just Chris, it's probably incidental, but I don't know if you all know, as far as I understand it, Chris has had perfect attendance on the select board and on every board on which he's sat, which includes Park, which includes the ARPA Advisory Committee and the Charter Committee. I think Chris has proven himself to be very dependable, accessible, and solutions-based. And I strongly advocate for him to be given the opportunity as chair. Thank you.
Anyone else in the room have a comment? Carla?
Good evening. Carolyn Nazaro, 64 Lawrence Road. I'm just going to bounce off. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Karen and Melissa. Thank you to Chris and Tony. It's not easy to put yourself out there. So thank you, because this is how our government runs, on volunteerism. Just to hop on Mary Ann's bandwagon a little bit, just in terms of the Killam project. When we were initially starting with a website, and we received bids for that website for the first year at a $35,000 cost to the town, Chris stepped up and designed, along with me, designed that website and then passed it off to our town staff and our school staff. That was an initial cost, that wasn't an ongoing cost. So we thanked him in the past, but just wanted to publicly recognize that here as well. And wanted to thank the board for all of your votes for Killam and your upcoming vote today for all the early voting for Killam. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else in the room? All right, Jackie, anyone on Zoom? All right. Okay, so we're going to reorganize. I'm going to hand the gavel to Matt. It's been a pleasure serving on the board.
As chair.
As chair, yes, as chair. I'm not resigning. Not resigning. All right. I know some of you want that, but no, not tonight. Good one. Yeah, so it's been a pleasure being chair. It was a running joke in our family that I was never going to be chair, so I'm glad it was for you. It was very enjoyable working with Matt and Jane, and it's a different take on what we do here, so I'm done talking. I'm going to hand the gavel over to Matt, and Matt is going to help us reorganize.
Okay, thank you very much. And on the microphones, if you can speak directly into the mic, you can see how it picks up in the new sound system. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but just want to let people know that. Thank you, Carl, for your service as chair. Appreciate it. So at this time, I will accept nominations for chair of the select board. Karen.
I'd like to nominate Melissa Murphy, and congratulations to both of you for joining the board and being reelected.
Okay, I hear Melissa. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Karen Rose Gillis. Jane's keeping track. Any further nominations? Melissa.
I would like to nominate Chris Haley.
Okay, we have a nomination for Chris. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second by Carlo. Any further nominations? Could I have a motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Okay. Any discussion? Chris?
Thanks, Matt. I hate these mics.
Sorry.
Someone's got to work on that. No, I appreciate all the comments, et cetera. I'm going to just briefly reiterate what I did last time in this position. I know Mary Ann pointed it out, but I'll reiterate it again, that my goal wasn't to have perfect attendance to everything that I've done since I started, et cetera. I mean, things come up, kids, et cetera. It's just turned out that way. And more so, I'm just dedicated to all the various, committees that I might serve on, like the Park Committee, Charter, which I'm currently chair of, and that's wrapping up. But I love this town. I've been here since 2007. I've been committed to each and everything that I've done since I was elected to the select board. Bob Holmes sat with me right before I started here. And I think he'd be the first person to say he did not see the way that I would be now compared to the guy that he knew back then, who, basically wouldn't say two words to anybody. And that's not the person that I am. So running for, town government, et cetera, while it is a thankless job, et cetera, there's lots of headaches. Everyone's well aware of all this scenario. At least for me, it's brought out the person in me to be more outspoken and actually have conversations and meet people in the community, et cetera. Because before this, I enjoyed my job, kept to myself, and never really talked to anybody. And now I'm having, Christmas Eve at Carla's house. So it's very rewarding. So I would just, anybody who's on the fence, I understand there's lots of bad with being on the fence, but there's also lots of good that's come from this. And knowing everything that I know and the struggles that I've gone through that other people may or may not know to get to this point, I would not trade anything for how it is right now. I could go on and on. It's just, I really appreciate the opportunity to be up here, and we'll see what happens. So thanks.
Okay, further discussion? Karen?
Point of information, or, so we would vote in the order of the nominations. Are we gonna have discussion on each nomination, or should all discussion happen now?
I just opened it up to general discussion now. And when you vote, we could do them one by one, or you could just vote with your choice.
We usually do one by one.
Okay, and we'll do a roll call. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. Okay, so we're ready to vote. So if the practice has been, we take up each candidate individually. I believe the first candidate nominated was Melissa. So I'll ask for a vote on Melissa as chair.
So this is where we would be able to have a little discussion.
Sure,
on each
yeah.
vote. Okay, so.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're the chair. Okay, thanks. All right.
No, you needed a second, I'm sorry, right? Do it.
Well, she was
Okay,
nominated and seconded.
Second.
Yeah, so.
Okay, all
She
right,
was nominated and seconded.
Right.
okay,
Okay.
right.
So the question is there any discussion? I just like to say, yes, as I said, congratulations. And I've worked with Melissa on the VASC and worked with her for the past year in the select board. I'm highly confident that she can manage the administrative and leadership tasks required of being chair of the select board.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, so then we'll ask for a vote on the nomination of Melissa Murphy as chair. So we can start with Melissa. Okay, Karen.
Yes.
Okay, Karen.
Yes.
Carlo?
No with an asterisk.
Okay, and Chris?
No with asterisk that I still love you, Melissa.
Okay. All right,
Don't tell your husband.
the next name in nomination was Chris Haley. So we'll ask for a vote on Chris as chair. Start with Melissa Murphy.
Yes.
Okay, Karen Rose Gillis. Karen Herrick.
No.
Carlo Bacci.
Yes.
And Chris Haley.
Yes.
Okay, so the vote is 3-2. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so Chris Haley is the chair of the select board. Congratulations. Gavel back over and you can move on to nominations for vice chair.
If I could real quick, I didn't have anything prepared for this regardless of what people think, but since 2021, I've been saying the same thing that I will continue to say to today, and that is together we will move Reading forward. This board, I appreciate the opportunity as well as the residents, and thank you for, letting me show you, what, not just what I can do, what this board can do. So thank you. So I will open it up, nominations for vice chair. Carla.
I nominate Melissa for vice chair.
Second.
Anybody else? Nominations? All right, seeing none, no one on Zoom. I will close nominations for vice chair and then take a roll call vote, starting with you, Melissa.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Karen Rose Gillis, Karen Herrick,
Yes.
Carla Bacci.
Yes.
And Chris Haley, yes. Congratulations, you're vice chair. And now, the time that everybody loves, that everyone came here for, the secretary of people that don't want to do it. So we shall see who ends up with secretary. So I'll take nominations.
I nominate Karen Rose Gillis.
Secretary.
Second.
And Karen has seconded it. Any other nominations for secretary? Seeing none, nobody on Zoom. Melissa.
Yes.
Karen Rose Gillis.
Point of order.
Yes.
Let's just ask our select board member if she is willing to do it.
What the hell? You know? Jump right in.
I like your spirit. So Karen Rose Gillis, yes.
I guess I have to say yes.
Okay. Karen Herrick,
Yes.
Carlo.
Yes.
Me, yes. Congratulations, Karen, you are now secretary. Okie dokie. So then I will turn it over to Select Board Liaison / Town Manager reports. I will start with you, Melissa.
Sure. I don't really have any liaison reports at this meeting, but I did want to take a minute to say congratulations to Karen and thank Chris and Tony for running, and also thank all of the residents of the town that came out to vote last Tuesday on that terrible day if you voted on April 8th. And just, you know, thank you for supporting me. And to Tony and Chris, I hope that you both continue to volunteer and put your time into the town, because we need the volunteers in this town. So congratulations again. Thank you.
Well, Karen, you don't have any.
I don't have anything,
Yeah.
but thank
You
you
will
for
soon.
voting me in, and congratulations to you. And I really enjoyed running and met a lot of nice people, and thank you again.
Karen.
Sure. I concur. Thank you all who ran and participated in the election. Thank you to Laura and staff. I did go down there and had to vote in person since I forgot to re-up for my mail-in ballot, and everything was exemplary as usual. Congratulations. Enjoyed all of the new technology, or seeing everyone using the new technology, and the results were out within an hour after the polls closing, I believe. So, you know, kudos on a job well done. I just wanted to let my colleagues know that pursuant to the meeting that you had with the MBTA and Brad Jones, I did reach out to Rep. Haggerty and Senator Lewis and let them know that I concurred with your request that the MWRA consider reevaluating the price that Reading has had to pay to join. I've also been attending the joint and the singular senior center recal and Killam meetings, and enjoyed the staff's preparation for that, and the great questions and the great attendance that we've had. And beyond that, just looking forward to town meeting, and we'll see how the election goes on the 13th of May. So thank you.
Carlo.
Thanks. Not so much as a liaison report, but just as a reminder, this could be our last meeting before the next election. So next election is May 13th. Tonight's agenda, we're going to vote on early voting, a very important election on 2 debt exclusions. So please be aware of that. I know everyone in the room is, but please, anyone listening or watching, we have a big election on the 13th. We need a strong turnout for these 2 projects. And again, I just want to thank Laura, staff, volunteers, everybody. It was a good day. It was one of the coldest, miserable days of standing out on the 8th, unfortunately. I wish we voted for May, but we didn't. And that's it. I like colleagues said, I'm glad that Reading Recap and the Republican Democratic Town Committees put on a forum for the general public. It was very beneficial, I think, as in years past, but RCTV wasn't able to do it. So I look forward to the future and the year ahead. Thanks.
Thanks, Carlo. For me, there wasn't much either. I just left the Council of Aging, but you know, I only had my update from the select board to them, so I was unable to finish over there. But I think one of, other than obviously thanking Laura for once again just putting on a great election and, you know, handling things the way that the rest of the country should pretty much handle things. Last year, my big takeaway from the election there was just seeing Oakland Road and the amount of people that drive in its insanity over there, which, you know, that whole aspect. In this election, my big takeaway from that, other than that, which still exists, is I saw 2 kids playing across the street with a rolled up piece of carpet for close to 2 hours in that weather. And no cell phones, no social media, nothing. Just 2 kids playing like they're supposed to. And it made things a little bit easier seeing, just there's hope for other people in this world beyond social media, which, I told my daughter that I would buy her a car if she stays off social media till she's 18. And because she's my daughter, she said yes. And then I asked her why she said yes so quickly. She said, because you're buying me a Tesla. So that's my daughter. So there's still hope in this world, and I'll turn it over to Matt.
Okay, thank you. So welcome, Karen, to the Select Board officially. And congratulations, Melissa, as well, and to all the candidates who ran. I know it's not easy. And again, to the town clerk and her staff who ran a flawless election yet again. We're very lucky to have those staff members with us in Reading. So thank you to them. So you probably noticed tonight we have the AV upgrades to the select room. So we have the stepped out sound. So as I speak, it's actually louder in the back and quieter here because of a lot of the rigging that went on top. So I think it's a much needed improvement to the room where people were complaining they just couldn't hear us when we were speaking. It also will improve the Zoom capabilities in the room. So I wanted to thank Kevin Farilla, who's in the room tonight. He's our technology director in our facilities department, who worked closely with the vendor to have this done. And it's been years in the making. I know people have been asking for it for a while. So we have the improved TV screens, and we're still working on a few little things, but I think by and large it's a big improvement and good for the residents.
And the owl is gone. It was
No more owl,
hazards.
no
That's
more
nice.
projector with this, so
Great.
we're into the 21st century here.
Great,
So.
loud and clear so far.
Yeah, great. I'm glad people can hear me. One big reminder we have is that on Wednesday, the 16th at 7 p.m., this is the Zoom forum for the joint Killam and Recal forum, public forum. We had the live forum last week. That went very well. That was at the PAC. And so it was actually 2 weeks ago now. This week will be the Zoom forum. So anyone that wasn't able to participate in the live forum, or even if you were, and you want to see it again and have further questions, there'll be questions and answers once the presentations are done. So again, that'll be this Wednesday night at 7, following our successful event on April 2nd. And just a few other quick things. The Arts and Cultural Action Plan team held an activation event at the library last week that was very well attended. We're coming to the culmination of our Arts and Cultural Action Plan. We're going to be putting that into action this year. So there's still time to put some input. There's plenty of resources on the website if you want to put in your input to the action plan. But I think there's some really great ideas for the future of Reading, public art, the creative economy, all will flourish under this plan. So I really wanted to mention that yet again. And people probably have noticed that the distribution of the rubbish and recycling toters is ongoing. It started over the weekend. And it was delayed a little bit because of weather. I think we've got about 10% of them out right now. And we are working hard over the next few weeks to make sure everybody has their new rubbish and recycling toters. There's plenty of, if you have questions, there's plenty of information on the website. Also, there's a phone number. First, it was incorrect in one of our first flyers, but it is now correct. And people can call that number and get more information. So with that, I think I will conclude.
Jane, do you have anything other than the mic?
Once again, Matt takes all my points, my good points. I continue to support a lot of the projects in town and our staff. So come to the meeting on Wednesday, the joint forum. It's all remote. That'll be a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okie dokie. So moving on to liaison assignments, page 3 in the packet. Give it a moment.
I vote that we give KRG all the liaison assignments just to make it easy.
I don't have a motion for that, so we will not take that up.
So point of information,
Yes.
oh, sorry, was this it? Usually it's a feedback night followed by a finalization night. Is that where we're gonna continue to follow? Okay, great.
Yep, yeah, so what we've done in the past is what Karen just outlined. Essentially, we just mentioned which ones we'd like to still serve on, et cetera. And then the board can send their, not priorities, but whatever ones that they would like to join on to Matt. And then Matt can field all the answers from all the board members, and then we'll see which people add up to which ones. So I want to say new Karen, but Karen Rose Gillis. So the easy one for you is just to say, I'll do everything with Mark, but you don't have to. You know what I mean? You could feel more confident, or, you know, something like, I don't know, whatever one, RMLD, maybe you have an interest in that. Like, just because my name's next to it doesn't mean you don't let Matt know that you'd be interested in it. So, does anyone have any questions? I know we've done it this way in the past. Karen?
Nope, no questions.
Okay.
Ready for feedback.
Can we eliminate recalc building committee or not yet?
Did that
Is they still
sunset?
meeting?
Calc Building Committee?
Well, no, Recal itself, which Mark was the liaison, did that sunset? Or no?
Well, there's recalc,
Yeah,
which doesn't exist, we can get that off
right,
there.
yep. That
And
turned
there's
into
the
fun.
recalc building committee, are they gonna be meeting before the 13th? Or is that gonna be ongoing beyond the 13th?
I think it would be, well, if it passes on the 13th, then it will be ongoing.
Okay.
Right? The committee just had a meeting tonight before this meeting. There is a possibility that they'll have another meeting prior to that.
All right.
Prior to the election.
Yep.
And town meeting.
Yeah, so I don't really see that that's any different than Killam. I mean, if Killam doesn't pass on the 13th, like, is it gonna go away, or is it gonna keep on meeting? I mean, these are two active capital projects. I would be happy to take Mark's role on recalc. So yeah, these aren't gonna go away. These are, you know, we don't know how the election's gonna go, but these are two high priorities for the town of Reading.
Melissa?
I agree with Karen 100%, but I think for some reason, the Killam we don't have someone on the Killam Building Committee, just Killam School. And there's two here, there's Recalc, which has Sunset, and then Recalc Building Committee, but we don't have a building committee for Killam? Is that correct? Because, maybe because of the MSBA process, is that correct?
There was a Killam Building Committee.
Yeah.
We have an extra. It seems like there's an extra.
Okay, it's just not on here.
There shouldn't be two recal projects. There should just be one at this point.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Understood, all right, fair enough.
Any other questions on the liaison assignments? But like I said, send your priorities over. Our next meeting is not until some May 13th, 17th? No, 13th,
Yeah.
because it's the same night as the vote. So we got a month to get these in, preferably, you know, at least that Monday, so it makes it into the packet, so everyone can see it.
I move that we eliminate, well, not eliminate, because I'll ask Karen, because I wasn't aware of any meetings for economic development. That's on there, I don't know why. Was asked or, I don't know what they meet about.
Yes, right.
Yes, Karen.
Yeah, so, yeah, no, that's, it's a good question. There's a lot of liaison assignments here. I would include like walkable Reading in there. So I have various conversations with our economic development, staff member, but yeah, there's no meetings around that, so it's up to this board whether we wanna keep positions like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you. There's way too many liaisons in here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if there's no meetings, I'm not sure that we need to specify a liaison on our chart here. It'd probably be easier if we could clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, celebration committee, walkable, there's a bunch of stuff that I think is,
Public Works Public Works, Public Safety, I mean, maybe this is a separate agenda item.
Well, you'd always have liaisons to different departments. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's
Even though
that's a
it's-
Economic
department.
development was
Right.
kind of a department type.
right, but, okay, we can discuss it.
Yeah, no, I think possibly for a future agenda thing. I understand what Karen is saying, because she said it every single time this comes up, and I agree with her, that just because I can make a couple of these meetings, et cetera, it doesn't, take away from the fact that other people might not be in that same position at various times. So I understand that our time is is valuable, and we want to show that we support various groups and committees in town, but I understand what Karen says every single time, that it's overwhelming. So we kind of have to, I don't want to say slash some, et cetera, but I think there has to be another way of doing this more effectively that still gets the point across that we're supportive of these various committees, and obviously public works, et cetera, but at the same time realizing that, people have things to do. So maybe we'll have an agenda item on it, et cetera, but I'm more into the mindset of going through things that I've seen in the past multiple times over and dealing with them. So I'll see what I can do with Matt on this, and if anyone has any ideas, you can send it over to Matt, et cetera, and we'll go from there. Melissa.
Just one other question, and I don't remember how we finalized this, so I apologize, but I think one of us, Karen or I, have to step down from Bass, because didn't we make it so like we could try to rotate people?
It's 2 years, so you can't do more than two
Okay,
years worth.
We can, but we don't have to.
Yeah.
Just depends.
I think we reworded the
Yeah, we'd have to look at that.
procedure, so we just gotta look at it. Okay, that's
I
fine.
think yeah.
We just
I know
gotta
this was
go
a
back
big
and,
point
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah, I
contention,
know, we
yes.
just gotta go back and look at it. That's
So Matt, so just highlight Bass, see what we have to do for that.
Yep.
But that, I wonder how because the term for that, the Bass appointment would have been until June 30th, I believe. So I think you're still covered under that,
okay, that's fine.
but we'll get confirmation.
Yeah, we'll look at that.
Okie dokie. So now we will move on to 7:45 agenda. Vote to confirm town manager's appointment of Rick Nelson as fire chief. So Matt, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. If I may first, I think we have some family members coming in the room. So. Right.
I thought they were very CBDC.
The
I
whole
thought so.
family.
Yeah. It's like that is standing room only for CBDC.
It's gonna be.
We're gonna need a bigger room, Rick. Bigger room for you.
Popular guy. Oh, boy. Looks like the whole department. Great.
Some seats in the front, guys, seats in the front.
Lots of seats.
Fill in.
Come on in.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be shy.
Plenty of seats in the front.
Okay, I think everybody's in.
Yep.
Great. Okay, thank you, board. I sent the board a confidential memo outlining the process that we went through to select the new chief, and I hope everybody was able to review that. I talked about a little bit in prior meetings, having an assessment center, having a selection committee. That all went very well. And my choice and the choice of the selection committee is Richard Nelson, who's currently our assistant chief and is in the room here tonight. He's been with the department for 28 years. He grew up in Reading. He's extremely well qualified, and he's received the highest score in the assessment center, which was really a big plus for me to hear that our person here had the highest score out of anybody. He has held the ranks of lieutenant and captain here in Reading. And most importantly, I believe personally that he has the motivation and the vision to lead the department to the future over the next several years. So with that, we're happy to answer any questions. Captain Assistant Chief Nelson is here tonight to answer any questions, but I respectfully ask that you confirm my confirmation, my appointment of Richard Nelson as the next fire chief in Reading, Massachusetts. Thank you.
Are you? Oh. I guess, does anyone want to speak? Chief Burns, anybody on this before we vote, or if you want to come to the podium?
Come to the podium would be great.
I am Greg Burns, Fire Chief. Rick is a fantastic leader of the department. I know if it's a successful vote tonight, he'll really move the department forward into the future, as Matt says. Rick has a lot of leadership experience with the Essex County Technical Rescue Program. It's a highly trained team. He was on the leadership for that team. And also he's given back to the community many, many years to scouting, leadership and scouting. So he's just a good all-around person, and he's well respected in the department, as you can see by the turnout here. So I think he's a natural choice, and he's just gonna continue to move us forward. So thank you.
And thank you, Chief Burns, for your time, obviously, here in Reading. I think, unfortunately, I know a bunch of paramedics, et cetera, that have come, and helped out my wife, my kid, Savannah, my youngest, over the years. And you're always there in minutes. Like I said, the last budget time or whatever around, if you can get sick anywhere, it has to be Reading. Anywhere else, it's top-notch quality service here. And I really appreciate your time here. And I know Rick, like Matt just mentioned, 28 years. I hope that he ends his time here with Reading as well. And the amount of people in this room equates to MBTA communities and everything else. I mean, I've never seen this many people. So obviously they're all here to support you. And for me, it was an easy choice. So thank you. Does anyone else have anything? Melissa?
I'd just like to say thank you to Chief Burns for your time here in Reading. Oh, there you are. I'm sorry. I didn't know you weren't back there. And congratulations. Thank you for your dedication to Reading, and we hope you have many, many more years here with us.
Karen?
This is a great showing tonight. Thank you all for coming. Congratulations on your highest assessment and the recommendation of the town manager. Thank you for going through that process. We're very proud of our fire department here in Reading, and we look forward to, we are gonna miss Chief Burns, and we look forward to lots of great things from you as well, so thank you.
Thanks. Yes, I was lucky enough to be on the search committee, and it was a pretty easy decision. With the other candidates were also qualified and came from different parts of the state, but it was unanimous, as we all know, and I look forward to Nelson service, and I thank, Chief Burns for all your dedication. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Burns, for all your service, and I look forward to working with you, meeting you. Congratulations and good luck.
All right, could I have a motion, Karen?
So I'm just supposed to read this?
Yes.
This is what I'm doing?
Well, not the whole page, just with
No, yeah, just move to ratify the town manager's appointment of Richard Nelson as fire chief.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0, congratulations. Yeah,
let him speak.
Are you gonna, would you like to?
Of course, he's gonna say something.
I don't feel like I get away without saying something. I am absolutely humbled and honored with the trust that has been bestowed with me with this vote. It's not lost on me. I just, one moment, have to say thank you to my family here in the back. I wouldn't be here without them. When the phone rings and I got to run out the door, my wife has been supportive all the time. She doesn't yell at me. And so as dedicated as I am, she is equally as dedicated to this job, whether she likes it or not. So thank you very much. And really, when I look around this room, Matt says, how many people are going to be there? I said, I don't know. Sorry. When I look around this room, there's people from every department in here. And I love working with the town staff in this department. It's truly something that absolutely cherish. We're lucky to have that here. The staff is just so wonderful. And to the men and the women that I'm now going to have the opportunity to work with in this position, you hear the nice things they say, that's because of you. It's because of what you do every day when you show up and the dedication, and you make us look good. You make us look good. So these are the real magic here sitting in the audience. This is it right here. So thank you for everything you do. Thank you for the trust. And I work very hard not to let anybody down. And I'm so excited about the future. So thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
If I may, I was given a badge to give to Chief, soon-to-be Chief Nelson. I'd like to present that to him now. So. We'll just, it's not the official uniform.
Don't start.
All right, here, sure.
You guys are working.
Okay.
Don't go too far.
We can do a picture.
There's a photo happening now. So.
I had a feeling.
This doesn't happen very often.
No,
When's the last time it happened? 25 years ago?
25 years ago
30,
for-
40,
for-
50? 44. Congratulations. Nice to meet you.
I know. I came prepared.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
Should I stand in the front? Is that?
Well, you're the tallest, so maybe in the middle. Maybe the tall guy goes in the middle.
You are.
I want to be on the end.
Sideways, Carla.
Want to be on the end?
Sideways.
Hi.
Right.
Hi. Okay.
Who are we looking at first?
Bob.
Bob?
Okay,
All right,
Bob.
Bob first.
Up first.
I didn't even see Bob.
All right, then Taylor at the floor, Carla in the middle. I assume family member in the back.
There we go.
All right, go ahead.
One more.
Yeah, good, because I wasn't looking at you. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, now
Both
we're looking at you.
Karens.
Okay.
That should be behind you now.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes.
I wouldn't know how to do
It's not on. Crack a window. Everybody's rosy now. Kidding, felt like 20 degrees cold.
I know.
Is it always this warm?
No, not either. Yeah, she's just gonna crack the door.
I'm very excited.
Busy but good.
Don't we take a moment?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I
didn't know we were supposed to bring families around. I didn't have my family.
That's a good idea.
Perfect. Sounds good. I appreciate it. It's not a big deal. At least I'm getting them now, so that's all that matters. You don't need anybody. Everybody's here and there's no ambulances. So.
Yeah. Escape route.
I know, I was waiting for the alarm to go
Taking
off.
care of
Call them
the-
all out.
All right. Good to see you. Thank you. Great job. Oh, nice to meet you. Yeah, congratulations. You have two great sons there.
My first one was COVID.
You're working with both of them. Thank you.
St. Patrick's Day 2020. My first meeting. And then we shut down the whole state.
Got it. I don't think I realized that.
It was like that week.
Yeah, that week.
That week.
Yeah. Had 100 people at Fuzili's and then we shut down.
Do you want me to cut this?
It looks like everyone's out. You're good.
I think we're good.
I don't want
Yeah,
anybody
it
jumping in.
It brought a good
Yeah,
reason.
right.
Yeah, it got hot.
All righty.
To the agenda.
Back to the agenda, and we cannot top that other than Laura Gem with the early voting for the May 13th special town election. Laura, take it away.
Yep, good evening.
Okay, so, as you remember from the last time I was here, 12 weeks ago, the board of registrars is supposed to recommend whether or not they want to do in-person early voting, and then you have to, at that point, we take a vote. The board of registrars planned on meeting on April 17th, so they have not taken a vote yet. What I'd like to do, since this is your last meeting, is go ahead and take a vote with the select board, and then I'll still meet with the board of registrars and hope that they recommend. If not, then we're going to have to reapproach the in-person early voting. I do have a feel of the board of registrars, and it's a 2-to-1 because it was for the April election. So for this election, it would be May 3rd through May 8th, which is Saturday, through the 8th, which would be Thursday. So you'd be able to get in-person early voting during normal time hours. And the purpose behind Saturday is that town hall has to be open for last day to register to vote. So we might as well go ahead and do in-person early voting at the same time as well.
Board members, any questions? Seeing none. Karen, can I have a motion?
Motion to hold in-person early voting for the May 13th, 2025 special election on the following dates and times. Saturday, May 3rd, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday, May 5th, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Tuesday, May 6th, 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Wednesday, May 7th, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Thursday, May 8th, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Second.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you, Laura.
So if I may, take a moment, I'd just like to let everybody know that the ballots are here, so the vote by mail ballots will start going out next week. And I'd also like to remind those that are listening from home that the vote by mail applications have to be submitted every year. We've had quite a few who say that they didn't receive a ballot for the April election, and that's because they never requested one. The assumption is that once you request it, it goes on forever, but that's not true. It has to be done every calendar year.
Okey dokey.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
All right, moving on to review and vote on updated town forest rules and regulations, page 4 in the packet. Are you giving an update, Matt? Or?
Yeah, and I believe there's a member of the Town Forest Committee on Zoom. Is that correct, Jackie?
Yeah, it looks like Jeff Lance.
Okay, so Jeff's there. And, you know, you see this in your packet. This is just updating the rules and regulations based on some things that had passed town meeting recently. The committee member is happy to answer any questions. It's pretty straightforward. You see the new proposed rules as opposed to what's currently there. So I would turn it over to him if he has anything further to say or answer any questions.
Absolutely, thanks for having me. I think Mr. Tim Corwin from the committee is also there with you in the room. Sorry I can't be there in person. I'm out of town on business. There's a brief slide deck as well, if that would help provide context, especially for the new member, and congratulations. I can give as much context and background as you like, but if you also want to see the truth, we can go with it.
So when you mentioned slides, Jeff, is that just the starting on page where it's the Town Forest Regulations September 2014, or is it something different?
There's a brief slide deck in your packet as well. So this isn't just built.
Yeah, if you could.
So I've been on the town board for several years, and I think as most people know, we had brought forward a request for a bylaw change, which was ultimately approved at town meeting in the fall. The substance of that predominantly dealt with incidents related to off-leash dogs. So there are two different bylaws that were updated, hopefully get some regulation in place on that. And really the goal is to ensure that the town forest is a safe place for everybody. There's of course a lot of people who use it for hiking, camping with permits. There's a tremendous amount of scout activity out there, boaters, cross-country skiers, people with mobility issues, and of course dogs and dog owners, which I also consider myself in that camp as well. So our goal now is to update the rules to be in line with the bylaw. The rules have not been updated since 2014. We also took the opportunity to make some structural changes to make these rules flow a little bit more logically, such as at the end there's a section about the activities that are allowed in the town forest, but only with a permit, with the permits are applied for through the very robust town permitting system. I've covered myself over the years. It's quite easy to use, so we also added language directly into the rules about how to apply for permits. And then ultimately the goal is to also apply this to signage that will go up in the town forest as well, with all of the interest is in various kiosks. So the first upgrade was to restrict the number of off-leash dogs per handler to 2. And then the second upgrade component of that was to define effective voice control for dogs that are off-leash. We also expanded the description of invasive plant control. I think most folks are probably aware, but we can't beat the drum on this enough, that invasive plants are a huge risk to not only the town forest, but all conservation areas. And those are towns really invested in forestry management requires sustained effort over time. We'll get to that. And there's also clarification on the use of the property by groups. So if you could go to the next slide, please. I won't read the whole thing, but this is what I alluded to previously. We have bylaws 8.8.1.3 and 8.8.3.2.3. We're going to go to the next slide as well. Invasive plants, we actually, obviously we don't want people to harm the forest in any way by removing native species, but we also do want to encourage anyone in the town forest to assist with the removal of invasive plants. I often joke that if everybody who walks through the town forest just pulls out 5 glossy buckthorn, which is really easy to identify and to know what you're looking for, and really easy to hold when you get them in there. We're still good, so we get ahead of that pretty well. So we have a couple of examples of what the species of concern are that are found in the town forest. We referenced the website that we maintain that has a number of different educational tools out there as well. Of course, we want people doing this by hand. There's plenty of events that do get organized. Let's definitely about community groups to be a little bit more aggressive with it by using power tools, oversized only by licensed applicators with the appropriate comments as well, but we wanted to clarify and actually encourage this behavior. If we go to the next slide, please. Again, we wanted to clarify some requirements of group use and structure limits of the rules, so that at the end, these are encouraged activities, but under the right context. So group use is defined as organized events of 20 people or more, and by default, obviously running-based groups with priority, but there are sometimes appropriate requests from out-of-town groups as well. Obviously, camping is done primarily by sporting organizations, so more participated in camping that was organized by Running Rec in the past as well, so that's also open. We defined what the appropriate areas for camping are. This is not a change, but obviously entering the town forest at night is prohibited without a permit. Putting cookouts and fires, of course, all that is managed through the permitting process as well, and approved by the fire department. I think the logical best practice is clarifying that firewood should be brought in, just within 20 miles of the town forest or swim guide. That prevents introduction of invasive species, and the last floor could be one of those. And then lastly, vehicle access. Recommending a maximum number of 3 vehicles per event, but it's up to the town forest committee when they reserve the right for some of the larger events that happen outside that for various safety reasons or to promote access by folks that might have mobility concerns. To keep that on the table for approval of the town forest committee.
Thanks, Jeff. Board members, Karen, I saw you first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for bringing this forward. Thank you for all the hard work that went into it now and also in the prior town meeting. And I'm wondering about signage and the plan for communicating the new rules or any rules in our town forest. I haven't been down there recently. I can't wait for the sun to come out again so I can get down there again. But I'm in the camp that believes like just posting the rules is half the battle.
One thing I was pointing out is that we actually do continue to receive reports of poor dog control behavior, including dog bites. We can make health department and the animal control officer on that. And we do believe that this is the logical next step is to update the rules. We're looking to be compatible and consistent with all laws. And then the standards that we have planned is sort of a redacted and more prioritized. If you would, sort of like point of view and building these rules as well, so then we'll be posted around essentially every access point in the kiosk.
What is the time frame and do you have funding for that?
We do have funding for that. We're only talking about, I would say, 5 to 10 signs. I believe we've accommodated that in our budget already.
And when do you expect them to be posted?
Pending the results of the vote tonight, we have the draft for that ready to go as well, and it's just a matter of the DPW ordering them on our behalf. And in the past, when we ordered the signs, for example, we post area 7, very expensive forestry was done, and asked people to stay out of that area to protect it. There's a turnaround time for about 30 days, and the DPW has always been an awesome part of one book for clearing those, and then proposing them for installation. They'll sometimes install them for us, but some of us, like that's one thing we're getting the town forest to get them in zones.
Yep. And just one more.
This should go up in 30 days.
Great.
We're really prepped for this, assuming the vote goes. My name's Tim Kerwin.
Yeah, do you want to come up, Tim?
I'm the vice.
We have to force you to come up. Introduce yourself, sorry.
Along the inevitable. Obviously, a lot of work's been done on this. Bill Sullivan, as our chairman, is retiring. And Nancy Doctor is retiring as secretary, so we're in a regrouping process. But Jeff and I did a lot of the research on this, and it's been about 4 or 5 months since we had wordsmithed it initially, and then we've revamped it, cleaned it up. So as Jeff just said, we'll bulletize it and get it fabricated and get it installed as soon as we can. Then we go into the invasive control campaign, we go into the planting campaign, some of which we're kicking off with Arbor Day. So I don't want to go in the weeds with you, but.
All right, I had one more
That's a
question
town
because
forest.
you did start supplying doggy waste bags, but at the main entrance or the entrance where that DPW thing is, it's kind of buried. So will this project involve like relocating the doggy waste bags right under the newly posted sign about picking up your doggy waste?
No.
Okay.
Not envisioned to do it that way. The signage is really dedicated to the entrances. And the dog waste locations sometimes aren't at the main entrances. They're in several other locations. So, but they're critical and they're a valuable tool. It's one of my pet peeves, as you probably know. So, but we don't know. We haven't really dedicated where they're going, but they'll be visible and they'll be available.
Okay.
And DPW, by the way, is managing that process now.
Okay, great. Well, Chris is here.
Yeah. We collaborate.
Oh, I have a dog. Oh, I forgot my doggy waste bag. Oh, they're right there. Cool.
Yeah, the thing that kills me is here we go. I don't want to take up much of your time, but kills me when I find the dog bags tied up and then left on the ground, sometimes within about 10 feet of the barrel. you know, and I've had a couple of conversations, shall we say, with people and trying to educate how we're doing. But we've gotten a lot better. I have to say that, I don't know, 5-6 years ago when I got involved in this, it was wild, wild west. And we had to rebuild that whole system. And Chris and his team have done a great job of picking it up, doing it. So, all good.
Thank you.
Melissa?
Just a couple quick questions. Has the new bylaws been accepted by the state for the dog?
Yeah.
They have.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've gone through all the,
Okay, so they have been accepted, because I knew that we approved, or Town Forest approved them, but we were waiting for the bylaws to be accepted by the
Right.
state.
Yeah, and they were, and Laura's posting them.
Okay, great. And then second is, and I hate to ask this, but who is responsible for enforcing these new rules?
Want to take that one,
Specifically
Jeff?
the dog one,
Well,
or
specifically the dog one, and then maybe even like the permitting one, like if a group was in the town forest and they were over 20, like who's responsible for enforcing those? And will that information be on the new signs?
Well, okay, the enforcement, we can't, first of all, we're an advisory committee. So we're not really in the policing business. However, we do work with fire and police on an as-needed basis when we have a really important situation. There's a myriad of things that happen that we like to just deal with and not get too involved with. But the point is, the enforcement is really on the person. It's the signage, if it's clear. And we go out and we talk to a lot of people in the forests, and they see us coming and they kind of scatter usually, especially if we have our creds on, you know. But there is no real enforcement, but we're hoping that behavior will kick in based on the signage and based on everybody self-policing.
Yeah, I think we'll be back on that. So I think the next step is education and point getting the bonds posted so that at least everybody's aware of what the expectations are. I would expect that whenever our liaison is, this will be an ongoing conversation about enforcing these issues in town forest, getting appropriate funding for the appropriate enforcing agencies and things like that.
Great. Okay, thank you very much for those.
Thanks. Matt, so real quick on I know we did the animal control contract thing a month or two ago. Yeah, is this going to be wrapped up into that? Are we going to actually have enforcement, or is this, you know?
If it meets the requirement of enforcement, we'll have enforcement. So if there is a dangerous dog or something like that, we can send the animal control out. For cleaning up after dogs or things like that, that's not something. But yeah, you did ratify that contract. We have an agreement with them, and
So I guess
they've worked with.
I guess for future comment scenario, hypothetically, if someone went into the town forest with 30 dogs, I would like to know what happens in the future regarding that, or what a resident would do, et cetera, if they saw that. Because, you know, people would be clearly ignoring the signs, et cetera. Or is it just going to be like, no one does anything and here we are again? So I just, for the future, maybe you can reach out to the animal control officer.
Okay.
Unless you know how that would be handled right now.
Well, I'm hoping nobody comes with 30 dogs, but I appreciate
you never know.
the example. And you know, we would find out about that, and I would have to make a decision whether it's something animal control can get involved in, how we enforce the bylaw. But generally, if it's that many dogs in the town forest, it sounds like it could rise to a public safety issue. But if it's a few, then, you know, maybe it's more just education.
There was one commercial dog walker who routinely brings in 8 to 10 off-leash dogs, and this is a situation we've received multiple reports about fights and things like that. So again, getting the rules officially ratified, if you would, and then posted is what we think is the logical next step.
All right, yeah, because the bite scenario, like I said, I remember back in the day, I got bit by a collie named Laddie, whatever it was, on Salisbury Street in Drake, Massachusetts. I remember the specific location where it happened. That's how much of an impact it had on me. So if we can prevent that from happening here, that's what I would like to see happen. So whatever you can do, Jeff, Tim, et cetera, education, you know?
Yeah.
Melissa?
Just one other quick question. We have a phone number on the sign about the dog rules. Does the dog officer have access to that line, or is that going to town staff and then they like feed the information to the dog
Goes to
officer?
town staff first.
Got it, okay.
And that will be part of the signage. The people who want to report something have a number now to call.
Perfect, great.
Which is key.
QR code up there.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Any other questions before the vote? Seeing nothing, Karen, can I have a motion?
Move to approve the updated town forest rules and regulations recommended by the Town Forest Committee as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0. 6-0 with Tim ad hocing to the side. Good to go with that. Super
That's
majority.
two more. Thanks, Jeff, for wherever you are. He could be in Abu Dhabi. I don't know where he is.
He's got good audio in Abu Dhabi.
There you go. All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jeff. All righty, moving on to vote on 52 Sanborn Street renovations, page 12 in our packet. Matt, do we have somebody for this?
Yeah, we do. I believe Rick Lynch may be on the Zoom, who's doing the development work. And as you can see from your packet, this was referred to us by the Historic Commission, who's agreed to the renovations, but we have a deed restriction that has to be dealt with by the select board, and so that's why we're here. So is he on the Zoom, Jackie? Oh, there he is. Okay. That's okay. We can hear you. Is there anything else you want to add about the project that the board should know about?
No, the meeting with the historical commission went really well. Explained to the project what we were doing, some steps. Basically, what's happening is some severe leaks that have been happening for years. There's a concrete wall, underneath the steps that will lead to a couple of entrances to homeowners. And the board has has approved for us to remove all the concrete and stuff, so we're going to review.
And again, this is regarding the schoolhouse condominiums. And so and in the packet, there's some renderings as well, so. Okay.
Melissa?
So I just have one question, and I see the deeds in here, and I know they're kind of wordy. So is the restriction on the deed for this building just that you have to get approval by the Historic Commission? Is that the restriction?
I believe so, yeah, and the select board would have to weigh in on it as well.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions, board members? All right. Karen, could I have a motion?
Move to approve the renovations to 52 Sanborn Street as presented.
Any discussion?
Yes, she seconded.
Yep. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 5-0. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right, moving on to vote on Renewable Energy Trust Membership Agreement, page 57 in the packet. Matt?
Yeah, so we discussed this at the last meeting as sort of a pre-vote. Andrew McNichol was here as well. I think he explained it pretty well. As people know, this is the final step in having Reading become a green community, which is something that's been worked on for several years. And so once this agreement is approved tonight, we will execute it, and then we will follow up with the state in terms of any other paperwork that they may need, but that's the last step. It had already gone through town meeting. I could reiterate, but most people are aware of this for the last few years. So.
Board members, any questions? Seeing none, Karen, could I have a motion?
Move to authorize the town manager to execute the Renewable Energy Trust Fund membership agreement.
Second.
Seconded by Melissa. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 5-0. Great. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to discuss charter review process, page 64 in the packet. Was somebody going to be speaking on this, Matt? Or I know I briefly mentioned our options at the last one.
Yeah, and I think we just kept it on because it was a discussion point, and I know that you're the chair of that as well. I didn't know if there was anything more we'd want to say about it, or if we should just keep it on until something happens, so.
I believe the point of this was Laura and either Jackie or someone else was going to be working on the various charges and the
Yes.
timetables, et cetera.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that we have to do per se. Is that still ongoing though to meet our timetable?
Yeah, I think it is, and Laura's been updating the charter with the changes, and drafts have gone around and whatnot, so it's still a work in progress, but we're getting to the finish line hopefully, so.
Laura, did you have anything on that? Or,
The updated copy is on the website currently, travel changes, and Ivrea has been working with Ivrea, encouraging an explanation of the changes. But at this point, it's doing on Ivrea, and we're on time.
okay. If I could just give any feedback on that, I vaguely recall somebody mentioning the original charter was taken off the site, so it's only the updated one with the red lines. Is it possible? Oh, okay, perfect, and you don't have to do that. Board members, any questions on this? All good? I don't think we had a motion, right, Karen? Nothing?
No.
All right. Sounds good. Laura, keep us updated. Just make sure we're on time to get this squared away that, the way that we had liked it to be, but, you know, I'll just get updates from Matt on that. Thank you. All right, moving on to discuss charge for master plan committee, page 67 in the packet. That is once again for us, Matt, right? Nobody's speaking.
Yes, that would be for you, although I think Jackie was able to find the original charge. It should be in there in the text. Page 67, something we've been looking for a while, so thank you, Jackie, for finding that.
So board members, any questions on this? Carlo?
I think tonight's discussion should be, to start this process, because it's going to be a very lengthy process, is that any boards or committees that need to appoint members that we agree on, whether it's tonight or the next meeting, that process should start. Our appointment, can be last, but, if we're going to go by this model, and I have some questions about it, but, Reading Housing Authority, Conservation, Recreation, Historical, they should be aware that we're going to need people for this, and CPDC obviously, and that should get going sooner than later because they don't meet, some of them don't meet that often. That's what I would recommend, and I don't know why Eastern Middlesex Board of Realtors is on here from last time. It seemed kind of odd to me. Very random. Not random, but I get it, but I don't know. I don't know the background on it, so I was kind of, and we don't have a downtown steering committee, so that's obviously a lot different.
Melissa?
Do we also need to post if we're gonna have 3 residents? So that might be something we wanna talk about too.
Yeah,
If we wanna post that for people to
applications,
apply.
yeah.
So I guess it says that we're going to have 17 members.
No. This is what they did.
Correct. Jesus, Mike. How do we feel about 17? That just sounds,
Very bad.
yeah. I guess that's the biggest thing is to
I think
maybe whittle that down. Obviously, we need representation, but
my notes from last time have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got 13 or 14. So I had last time Council on Aging. That's not listed on here. One of us, 2 CBDC by not this, by another thing that was presented. Finance Committee, that's a question mark. Recreation's on here, Conservation's on here. Historical, yes. I would want someone from Permanent Building Committee, myself personally. School committees on here is, not an official member, but a designee. Housing's on here, and then at least 2 or 3 residents. So If you add that up, it comes to 13 actually, because I crossed off one. So 13 by the notes I took last time we talked about this. And 2 CPDC is a heavy lift, but this says all CPDC members are members, I guess, because it's gonna be fall under their jurisdiction. But I think 2 need to be like, I wanna do this and go through the process. And I think for us, where this is a 2-year process, where Karen and I only have a year before we decide what we're gonna do, I would like to see one of us do it that has a longer runway, so there's not a change, but that's just me. I'm not gonna dissuade anybody from volunteering, but I think it makes sense for someone who has 2 or 3 years left in their term to be our representative, but that's my opinion.
Karen?
Yeah, I don't, you're a CPDC liaison?
Mhm.
Are you the only one? You
No.
want to?
Yeah.
So have you guys talked to CPDC yet?
No.
I would recommend you do that before we decide on how many, because this is in my impression, this is a heavy planning. Those are professional planners. So housing is an important component. I would just add here, I don't know if we've looked at what current master plan committees look like these days, advisory committees. But the Eastern Middlesex Board of Realtors has morphed into the Greater Boston Board of Realtors, so it's still located in the same spot. It's in Reading. That could be one reason why they were asked to participate. They're here, they're a taxpayer. Why not?
We can say that about anybody.
So realtors know about housing, and master planning has a huge component of housing. To your point, whether it's senior housing or veterans housing or any kind of housing, there's absolutely reasons for a housing expert to be on this committee, in my opinion. I'm just noting that it is now the Greater Boston Board of Realtors. And we are privileged that they are located right here in Reading. It's awesome.
Anyone else, Melissa?
I was just looking at surrounding towns. The amount of members seems to vary greatly between people that have done this in the last 3-4 years. One thing that I did see that I think that we should add is a person from our Affordable Housing Trust, which I am on that committee, and we are gonna meet soon, hopefully. Andrew's trying to get a date, but someone from that should be added to that list, I think.
Mm-hmm. Karen, you have any thoughts?
My head's spinning a little bit right now.
Fair enough.
Wouldn't that fall in Reading Housing Authority, you don't think?
No, it's actually different.
I know it's different, but it's under that umbrella.
Yeah, it is.
Well, you could decide, is that the appropriate housing representatives? What kind of housing representation do we want now in 2025?
Right. That's what we gotta work on, right. But yeah, who's the new council on aging person, you?
Yes.
All
We
right,
have 2 council of aging people.
okay. I can reach out to Historic, CPDC, I think I'm Recreation as well. And then Housing Authority, What do people think about the Reading Chamber of Commerce?
I mean, it seems as if, it's one member recommended by the Reading Chamber of Commerce who's a resident of Reading. So, I mean, I could see because of the business aspect of it and obviously wanting to plan for that kind of development, it kind of makes sense. I would obviously want like a business owner in Reading to be part of this. It makes sense. So we could reach out to the chamber and see if they have somebody in mind.
Well, that's something I think needs to be spelled out, because not every member of the North Reading Chamber of Commerce is a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't want an employee on this committee.
Yeah, it would be, obviously, the way it's written here, we would leave it up to them to make their decision. If we disagree with it, then we can do that.
It says resident already.
No, I know they have to be a resident, but they might say, okay, Phil, you do it. As an employee that's working behind the counter.
So it's subject, these members are subject to our approval?
Correct.
We can get the feedback.
Yeah.
I'd like to be specific, because then they know we want someone like Eilish, someone like Julie, someone like Reading Trophy, someone like Cupcake City, someone like whoever is a Reading, no, Eilish was a bad example, maybe not Reading resident, but someone who's a Reading resident, Liz, that wants to do this, because if no one wants to do it, then I would never appoint an employee, me personally.
The other thing is, yeah, this is kind of a big committee, so the question is, you know, I wasn't around when they did this, or I wasn't involved in this. So, are we expecting that, so a lot of these, like you wanna hear from these various groups, but do they really need to go to every meeting? Like, it still remains a heavy planning lift by professional planners, but you do want input from all of these other groups. So, I mean, we could talk about, you know, what the expectations are for those other folks. Do they come in at certain points in time? And this is the night we're gonna talk about senior input. This is the time we wanna talk about, you know, what do we need to have in place to support a local economy? So we could talk about that, and that might, and maybe CPDC gives us some guidance on that. I don't have any experience with one of these.
I think for me, seeing that the original master plan was like 200-300 pages, that, you know, it seems like a significant lift regardless of the people that are on it. So it's gonna be a commitment from these various boards, committees, residents, et cetera. So I think that should be spelled out right out of the gate to let everyone know that, you know, this isn't some basic jury duty thing where you get dismissed after 1 or 2. It's gonna be a year or 2. So.
Yeah, it's a commitment. You don't have to go to every meeting, obviously, you can get filled in and
That's
say,
what I'm really
they're
thinking
public
about,
meetings.
because we won't, I mean,
It's the
it's
quorums
a planning
there.
exercise, and they're not planners, but they have valuable input. So, all right, well, we don't have to decide all of that tonight, but that's what I'm struggling with, because I don't think we're gonna get a lot of no-shows, and that's not good unless we're already comfortable that we understand that it is an advisory committee, so we're not looking for 100% perfect attendance, but we wanna have this pool of knowledgeable individuals that that the committee as a whole can pull from and rely on.
I think if you break it down enough into small bites, it's much easier to manage.
Yeah.
And it won't be as overwhelming to people to join.
Is this gonna be a staff-led initiative?
yes.
Staff led, yeah, staff will be very highly involved.
Andrew's gonna be like,
Yeah.
okay,
And, yeah, I mean, it would be the planning department mostly. but-
so
which
he
comes
could
under-
lay out, when do we need certain people, and like let people know when, you know.
Yeah, him and the planning staff.
We're gonna have a consultant too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, and
okay,
we'll have a vendor
good.
as well.
Excellent, so
But
then
he would be
there's the
he
organization
would
right
probably
there.
be the lead,
Okay.
employee on that.
And I've said this before, but I really think that the $200,000 that we allocated for Joe Huggins to do a planning of town buildings needs to roll into this master plan. That we allocated money for him to assess the buildings
For
in town.
facilities master plan.
The facilities master plan, to me, the facilities master plan and the master plan for the town need to be intertwined.
Inextricably intertwined, as Tom would
Right,
say.
they don't wanna work working in vacuums.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So we need to be working together with them when they do that.
Any other thoughts?
No, I think this should be on every agenda until we actually
Yeah.
formalize the committee.
Yeah.
But,
I do think we should have Laura post. I mean, I think we probably have to come up with some wording and criteria and, well, maybe not criteria, just residents, but wording and,
Mhm.
well, maybe we should take a post now. Do we want 2 or 3? Because that's gonna be important.
2 or 3.
Residents.
I say 3.
yeah, I think 3 makes sense to me too.
Yeah, I'm okay with
If
3.
it's not available, you'll always have 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm okay with 3.
I think 3 makes sense.
Mhm.
How does everyone feel about someone from PBC? Because we didn't have that back then.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. Those
Makes sense.
individuals on that committee have a lot of knowledge, so.
That could be part of a liaison to Joe Huggins' staff as well. because he's frequently at their meetings, if not all the time.
Yeah, he's staffed.
Facilitates that.
How does it work with town staff on these committees? Like, it would be great to have Joe Huggins at some of these meetings for this committee. But do you just have?
Typically, he
voting
attends by like
members.
Zoom, but yeah,
Yeah.
they'd be non-voting members.
Yeah, not voting members, but just
Yeah.
valuable input.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with facilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is staffed to the permanent building committee. He goes to all of those meetings.
Got it, okay, great, all right.
Now, back then, the board elected the chair of this committee. It says the Board of Selectmen shall select the chairman. It's interesting.
Mhm.
We don't do that anymore, pretty much.
Generally, we let whatever
Yeah.
committee or board select their own chairman. but
Right.
I don't know how they did it back then.
Yeah, how would we pick out of 17 people if it was, I don't know,
Well, they did,
well,
Yeah.
the olden days,
good for them.
when you could say selectmen.
You know what they say about the old days?
Yeah, we need to fix
They
them.
the old days,
All right, next agenda.
which is future agendas, page 69 in the packet.
Not till the 27th, kids, woo-hoo.
No, the
Or
13th.
potentially the 13th.
13th is the election, so we generally don't have any meetings on election nights.
Got it.
So I would suggest that we either cancel it or move it. It's up to the board. We looked at some rooms. I think the select board room is available on the 20th, if you wanted to have something then. Or have it on the 20th and not have the one on the 27th.
Or we could do another Monday night football meeting.
Monday Night Football, yeah, that's right. So,
But what does the actual agenda look like for the 13th? Currently what's listed here, which is nothing?
yeah.
If we had one?
Yeah, not much heavy on the 13th at all right now, unless something goes up. There are a couple items that I have, that would be on for the future. Either May meeting would be fine, at a meeting in May, but that I can discuss with, or at least let you know about.
So you have water and sewer rates out in June.
Right.
It's usually what we do.
Yeah.
So, at what point do we need to have a meeting to talk about, with Sharon, to talk about whether we're gonna need to start planning for an override?
It's whenever you want. I mean, I haven't discussed it specifically with Sharon. We're sort of getting ready for town meeting right now, but sometime after.
I mean,
town
I'm
meeting.
thinking post-election, like this community can't,
Right, sure,
none of
yeah.
us can handle this right now. We need to get through that,
Yeah.
but, so we're looking at May 27th or beyond.
Right.
Well, Finance Committee is clearly talking about it and worried and concerned, and I'd love to, Chris, get it out there, maybe sooner rather than later, even if it's a brief beginning discussion. I think this is one of those things that's really hard, but the legislature will be finishing up, hopefully. Sorry, I don't want to be too optimistic. It's really dependent on what they do and what they decide. They have money to send to us, and that, that can be significant. There's significant money for education and transportation can be additional road monies. So anyway, I don't know how to get that conversation started, but it's not good to have it randomly coming up in public meetings and people fueling rumors.
Well, I think we should discuss, do we want to have another meeting, either the 12th or the 20th, and move a few things and have, because we're going to have maybe an update, or, for the 27th, at least we should have master plan on the agenda again.
Okay.
And maybe an update, have applications get posted for 3 residents, in the next couple of weeks, I don't know.
Yeah, because we have to come up with a charge for them to know what they're even volunteering for. So,
Yeah, so,
Okay, that's good.
Melissa, you had something?
My thoughts were that we might want to put another meeting on in May, just because I'm afraid that if we don't, that 27th is gonna get slammed with stuff and we're
yeah,
gonna be there all
I
night.
agree.
I think my thought on that is, even though I love you all so much, I think after having town meeting all those days potentially in a row, that I think it's just too much anyway. And there doesn't seem to be anything on this agenda, on the 13th anyway. So I'm not opposed to not having the
Well, the 13th
13th.
was blank like that, left on purpose. that was not because of,
Do you wanna hold a placeholder on the 20th? I'd say get rid of the 13th, right? Do you wanna hold a placeholder on the 20th? Because you'll find out that things like bubble to the top. And even if it's a quick meeting.
yeah.
We're holding the room just in case, but, you know, we can make a decision.
Yeah, leave it for the 20th, I guess.
Yep.
I'll be out of town, but I can zoom in.
And if I may, one agenda item that the treasurer made me aware of is that you'll have to vote on the short-term debt related to the high school field house improvements, the floor. So that will happen. She had asked about the 27th for that agenda, so.
All right.
Other agendas?
Yeah, I'd like to invite RCTV, either members of the board or Phil, to start discussing their contract.
Mhm.
We don't have many meetings left before their contract expires. So that's something that should be addressed.
Yep, that's a good idea.
When does their contract expire?
The end of the fiscal year, so.
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay,
July.
yeah.
It's a grant agreement, but yeah, same principle, yeah.
And there is legislation to help with their funding pending, and it's sponsored by a lot of people, and we'll see.
So Matt, you have
The
that?
funding specifically, or the funding
Yeah,
for,
to make up for the lost revenue.
I mean, for Reading specifically, for
No,
all,
for
all
everybody,
cable
for
access?
everyone.
All cable,
Senator Lewis is a there's a letter at the Reading Post from one of their members who gave an update.
Does update on Street Street have to be an agenda item, or can it be just a Matt report?
No, I can just get you an
Okay.
update on that, yeah, that's.
Like Chris, that doesn't need to be an agenda item, does it?
I don't
Update
think
on
so.
Street Street?
When will we have information back on the Pleasant Street Center?
Oh, the appraisal.
Yeah, do you have the exact date, Jane? Jane's been working on that. Turn your microphone on.
I got you.
Thank you. Hold on one quick second.
So will there be a handout at town meeting to know, with the number on it or something? How are we gonna convey that to town
We
meeting?
can probably do that.
Or is it possible for the Zoom forum in 2 days?
No, it won't be ready by then.
Okay.
It will be in, I'm just trying to give you the exact date. That we put in the contract. 29th, on or before April 29th. So we'll have it just before town meeting. The original vendor that we went with is not experienced in historic properties, so stepped away, so we had to reissue the contract. So we have a new group, they're experienced with this type of commercial evaluation. So they have guaranteed it'll be on or before April 29th. They are doing a site visit on Wednesday. So we're very encouraged. We'll have the information just in time for town meeting.
Yeah.
But we can take that and publicize that to the board and put it on our website and communicate that at town meeting as part of the presentation during special town.
Yeah, but probably a discussion we want on our agenda for the 20th or the 27th, depending on the vote,
Mhm.
on the 13th.
You'll have the information by then for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Has anyone reached out to the Ice Arena Authority, or should I, myself or Karen, do that? That they can come on the 27th?
Oh, for their update?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they need to, if you're gonna reach out to them, they forgot to send over their financials from last year, so there's nothing for us to review, so that would be good to have in advance. And there was no payment in this last fiscal year for them, so I'm hoping there's gonna be a lease payment in their next fiscal year. And I understand they had to put a roof on, I get it.
Right.
And rebuild their reserves.
Okay.
Can someone remind me what the Chute Street building is?
Green Tomato Building.
Ah, thank you.
There's your update. The other item I don't think I see on here is the select board retreat thing that we mentioned after the election that we would do. So maybe not on the 27th because it's filling up kind of thing, but at least on maybe that June meeting.
Okay.
I guess last thing question is, I assume we have not heard anything from MWRA after
No.
the delegation time?
No,
Okay.
no. I'll try to get an update from,
Yeah, no, that's
I
great.
forget when their next meeting is, but
I assumed it wouldn't be a quick
Yeah,
turnaround.
if I did hear something, I'll let you know though,
Thank you.
right away. So. Yep,
I was just wondering if we could get an update, or it could be in a town manager report on the net zero committee, like, are they issuing a report? When will we hear from them?
okay.
That will be important for the master planning.
Anything else?
I have one, whenever.
Matt?
Yeah, one addition too, and I know you've seen some emails on this, so Arcadia Ave continues to be a problem with parking. So I know that the police department is gonna send up an amendment to the traffic rules for a public hearing on that. So I haven't seen it yet. I think they'll be sending it up soon. And that we'd have to publish that, as usual. I think it's just a week though. So for the May meeting, that, I could discuss it with you as the chair, but that might be something we want to discuss.
And when does the school year end there anyway?
I think probably right around that. I mean, I don't know the last day at Austin prep you're talking about, but
Yes.
probably, May or early June. I
Early
would say.
June 6th.
But it's still, I remember dealing
Yeah,
with this
no, I
even
know.
last year. It's always been a
Mhm.
problem, so.
Anything else?
Any idea when the Eastern Gateway might,
I have not heard when our next meeting is.
yeah, okay. All right, I'm just wondering, like, in my head, after your next meeting, like, maybe you could let us know
Sure.
I don't know what the timeline is in general for that committee, about when they would.
I don't know if we have a timeline.
Oh.
We only had 2 meetings so far, and the last one was kind of a brainstorming kind of idea meeting.
Okay.
And Andrew is in charge.
Okay.
And so he's got all the stuff and
Okay.
we await
Beverly
our-
has 4 depots, Wakefield has 2. I'm starting to be like, what did Reading do to only wind up with 1 depot? And feel like that dovetails so nicely into that area, so.
Anything else?
Do we think that we want to make an official liaison for that Eastern Gateway?
I don't know how it works with,
Committee. Do we
But
need
just-
a liaison too?
Nope, it could just be you, but just on our list of,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
because it's gonna be a long, it's
Right.
gonna be, it's not.
So you wanna be upgraded, you could be upgraded, you could be the official select board member of the Eastern Gateway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just,
because there are no
just then we
select board
have an
members on the
official
right.
liaison on our sheet.
Right, and that would open up a space on their committee for somebody.
I guess,
Not necessarily, we just upgrade your position, you're not only
Oh,
the,
okay.
you're not only a member, you're the, well, if we edit it to say there's a select board member now. I don't know, I'm just throwing it
I
out there.
think we have to check on that, right, Matt? Because we didn't create the committee. It's a town staff created committee.
Yeah,
So I don't know if we
Okay.
have standing to actually do that. But Matt,
No,
if
then
you
we don't
can,
need, or rather, we don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
great,
officially on it?
Right.
You're officially on it?
yeah, okay, great.
but I think that we should
And maybe
be,
add it to the list,
involved.
because you get credit for that. When we're like, oh, somebody only has 2 assignments, that's a problem.
Wouldn't we want to make that an official committee?
I don't think we can.
We didn't form it.
We would have to create a
Town
charge,
department
et cetera.
committee.
It's, if I may, it's a staff created committee, it's an advisory committee to staff to help kind of start it. So when it goes to maybe whatever the next step is, it might move into a request to create an official committee, sort of like staff started working on the Pleasant Street Center and the study that we did with UMass Boston, and then it moved to recalc, right? So as things move along, sometimes through the process,
Is it
you
more staff?
change how the body, what
Is it
bodies.
more staff than just Andrew? Or is it just?
It's Olivia, it's town staff, yeah, Kevin goes, yeah. So, but the group is to advise them, working with a consultant, sort of getting different feedback. Right now, there's a survey, so the survey is out. We hope more people will fill out and complete the survey. It's a fantastic survey. It's a story map survey. It's
Really good
It's brilliant, actually. It gives as much information as people if you want to get background on the project or the information that's there, so.
Did you have something, Carla?
I'm gonna keep talking until at least 9, so we can break my record. I'd like to get Kevin from economic development, like sometime in the summer.
Yeah, that's true. He's been asking to come too, so for.
Just get an update.
Yep, that's a good point. So Kevin McCarthy, Economic
Can we put
Development
Ace
update.
on the agenda for an update from them? I understand the
Sure.
library board of trustees going tonight that we're missing.
Yep. So Ace and Kevin.
Great.
Thanks for the reminder on Kevin.
Any other future agendas?
Keep talking.
Well,
guys.
look at all these,
Sometimes-
like, they have nothing on them, so we got a lot of work done.
We got 15 minutes, so keep talking.
No, we have approved meeting minutes, page 72 of the
I
packet.
haven't read them yet. Do you want to read them out loud to us? Kill some time?
The minutes, I can do that.
Yeah, okay. Like, just read them
Don't
so
you
that we
dare.
make it to 9.
Let me close my eyes
Reading it.
first.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't get a chance to look at them, so you can read them out if you want.
Well, no surprise there. So
Let's
I
see.
was fine with the minutes.
I found with them. We got to amend them so we can kill some time.
Do we have to amend them?
Pretty basic meeting.
Was Jackie doing these?
Yep.
Nice. Oh, you didn't mention the cupcakes. Should we mention the cupcakes?
I think we're good.
I'm good with them.
So I guess it's on you, Karen. If you're good, then we're all
Yep,
all set.
it
Okay.
looks good. Thank you.
All right. Karen, could I get a motion for the April 1st minute?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 1st, 2025 as amended / written.
Second.
Any discussion?
So, point of order. So
Yeah.
we didn't make any amendments, right?
No.
Okay, so you get to just say as written.
Oh, okay, as written.
Yeah, as
Okay.
written. Okay.
Got it.
First night, you're
I
doing a
know,
great
yeah.
job. You're doing a great job. Throw you right in the hot water.
Me right there.
Friendly amendment, as written.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? 5-0.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Super quick. You didn't let Karen do it, but is what it is. No discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? 5-0. Thank you, everyone, and 8:48.
Thank you.